Okay, so Christianity.
Yeah, uh, I started to think about it. It was dawning on me after our last conversation, you, me, and Mario. And I really found your investigations really interesting in that way. I wasn't like one could easily think that you would come to that conclusion, but I mean, I haven't met many people that have that kind of hang up. So I found it a bit interesting. So that I started to think about. Then I looked at this horror movie by Michel Suavi in combination with the Dario Argento.
Well,
So
just in case people haven't seen the other video, let's clarify what we're talking about. I was speaking whether Mario had Catholic guilt. Yeah, is that what you're referring to?
yeah, and yeah, exactly. That is what I was referring to. So maybe you haven't met people with Catholic guilt before, or something like
I
that.
haven't met them, but I've heard many stories.
I see. Because I couldn't really understand it, but I found it very interesting. Just for the sake of being interesting. Aha, okay, that's a different way of be programmed. I found it, and so on. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So
the Catholic Church imposes so many restrictions on your sexual freedom. And from a very young age, it teaches you that sex is bad, and that masturbation is bad, and fornication is bad, and basically everything which is good, which leads to procreation, is bad. So you've got to ask yourself: is the Catholic Church evil?
I don't think the absolute intent of it was. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, it's a good question. Is it evil or is it not? But I I am very sensitive towards movies and so on. I don't take lightly at looking at the movie because I will easily get affected even if I breathe in, breathe out, and look at it. But
Mm,
either emotionally or like with this last movie that I looked at, La Chiesa, or the church in English, it's called. Uh, was like there was much Catholic aesthetics within that, and they depict gargoyles and demons and so within the church. And then I started to think about that. Oh yeah, those gargoyles, they went forth in Middle Ages and also in Protestant churches to an extent, so to speak. And it was a way to put like guilt and such a stuff into people through those aesthetics of evil things.
yeah,
And I thought about it, and then I was started to think, but those things ain't in the Orthodox Church. So again, I come back to that because they don't depict the evil things in that way. Because in the Orthodox Church, it is like uh, the absence of God's love. That's like the evil force, the absence of that, so to speak. So they have more like iconographies and stuff like that, and they only depict what is divine.
yeah. Well, on all churches that I've seen, they have these gargoyles. Gargoyles is French for throat, and that means that it's the actual throat which is the important facet of it. Now, the throat was the flue for water coming off the roofs of these churches. So whenever you see a gargoyle, whether it's a griffin or some sort of demon, or whether it's a human, whatever, they've all got the mouth open, and
Yeah.
the water is coming out. So they're gargoyles. Now, the other depictions around these churches, where you've got the Green Man and faces of humans, are always with the mouths open, kind of like looking angry, like ah. They're called grotesques. And
Yeah.
I've looked into the history of grotesques, and it's very vague. And it's kind of like, yeah, well, churches have started to use grotesques around this period and that period, and it was influenced from this and that and the other. But they don't really say what the whole purpose was of these grotesques and the gargoyles. But myself and Paul, we were investigating this, and it seemed to us, because we've seen so many of them in all the churches and cathedrals that we've visited, that it was a depiction that the evil is on the outside of the church. But when you go into the church, you enter into the kingdom of God, and then you've got the religious iconography. You've got the suffering Jesus and the cross, and oh, we supposed to feel sad and sorrowful and all this sort of stuff, and we feel that, oh, now we're in the sanctuary of God. But it's never felt that way to me. It's always felt very empty, very vacuous, very morbid, and I would have much rather been on the outside of the church. To be quite frank, churches have never ever given me anything, even remotely spiritual. They are dead.
Yeah. And but there still is depictions of like evil things within the church as well. You have the higher realm, and then you have a bunch of evil entities with the downwards also coming up here.
Well, what church? Where have you seen that?
You can have a depiction of like the devil within the church also. Maybe a small depiction.
Have you
I've
seen that?
seen that.
Have you
Yeah,
seen that?
I've seen that. Yeah.
Right.
Um, so
So what did the
they
devil
can
look
have
like?
that
What did the devil
to
look like?
show the like fight between good and evil.
Right. So what did the devil look like? How was that depicted?
Uh, in one Protestant church down here in southern Sweden, I saw there was a little red devil, and I know that is very pagan thing, which is really not the devil, but they started to portray the devil or Satan that way around a certain area, so
Yeah.
or
Well, these
a
things
certain
came
time.
from the writers like uh, Dante
Yeah,
and Milton. When Milton wrote Paradise Lost and Dante wrote the trilogy in relation to heaven, purgatory, and hell. Um, let me just tell you what they were called. The Divine Comedy. So, in
yeah.
those books, these authors, about 1300, something like that, they started to depict, I think, for the first time for the public eye, what the devil was supposed to look like. And you see, if you look in the Bible, there is no description of the devil at all, other than that maybe he manifests as a serpent. But then of course it says that Satan was the most beautiful angel on God's right hand side. But as far as him being evil and a monster, well, there's no depiction or indication of that in the Bible at all. That came over 1,000 years later,
Yeah.
through relatively modern writers.
Yes. Yeah. So. Um, you certainly have more knowledge about that than me, and I I just go by certain things that I kind of know of and so on.
Yeah.
Like but another thing, I was sitting eating my chicken salad outside today after I've been to the gym and so on. And yeah, it's not uncommon that you meet a Mormon or something like that. Yeah. So some Mormon came up to me, started talking. You know, they are going from America or Australia and down to like Europe and so on to
Right.
proselytize a bit, you know. I often find interest in what they have to say and so on. So I listen a bit and so on. To me, it seems very narrow, and also that it is this Mormon is like it seems a lot like similar to Scientology and so on. You know, it's very new, and he the like what is called Adam Smith found this certain golden plates which he did not show to anybody, but
Yeah.
he he wrote everything down or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, and then we are meant to believe that. And then they also have some racial stuff within it, that the darker skinned people are those which is bred with like the beasts and so on, you know.
Mhm.
So their skin grew darker because of sin,
Right.
so to speak. They have that.
Yeah. So, well,
but
yeah, that
but
just
they often to try to hide it, because I have listened to certain debates about it, and often Mormons will never take debates because they have things that yeah, you need to talk with the pastor about that, you know, one on one and so on.
yeah, yeah. It's just plagiarized Christianity at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. But they gave me their book,
Right. Okay.
the Book of
Mormon's
Mormons.
Bok. Mormon's
Yeah,
Bok. Why is it? Why is
yeah,
it? Oh, is Bok book in Swedish?
in Swedish. Yeah.
Yeah.
All of them were like Australians and Americans, three of them. But
Right.
apparently they have a church here in Helsingborg. Yeah, you can come to us and pray and so on. We are not trying to win you over. We just trying to invite you. Then I just said, yeah, that's good. I'm not. I don't like proselytizing.
Mm.
But apparently they were a
Yeah.
proselytizing.
So,
Uh, but
what was
they
it then about Christianity in Christ that you had another insight into?
no, I kind of when I saw that horror movie, I kind of even if I understood when you talked about Catholicism before, I started to sink in more. Aha! And then I looked at that horror movie, and then I started to think about, to myself, why did I look at that horror movie? That kind of creeped me out a little bit, you know.
Hmm.
I felt a bit unease because uh, I choose my movies wisely, and I usually don't watch that many movies, you know, and so on. And then I started to dream about uh, other movies that I saw when I was young, which was really affecting me. But back then, you just took it as like, yeah, interesting vibe, you know, because you didn't understand better, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was what I and things like that. And after I watched the movie, I were about to go the day after, when I still had this nasty feeling from that movie, you know,
Mm.
uh, to go buy chicken salad. Then I weighed my chicken salad, put chicken in a box like that, and then it stood 666,
So, when you were saying the other day about watching these movies, we have to be very careful because we can get influenced, and if you are weak of mind, then you may start to feel like you have some sort of a possession going on. And indeed, people do, have these possessions. I was once at a car boot sale. Do you know what a car boot sale is? Do you have them in
Mm.
Sweden? Where people go to a field and they sell things from their boots of their car.
Aha, I've seen that, yeah.
Yeah. So they take a car full of stuff into a field, with hundreds of other people, and they sell stuff on the back of their car. It's called
Yeah.
a car boot sale. And there was this girl, and she was selling about 100 horror movies. And I was looking through these videos, DVDs, and I'm like, horror, 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 horror. And I went, my God, these are all horror. And I looked up at the girl who was selling them, and she was gothic. She black eyes and black hair and black clothes and black lipstick, and her parents were next to her, and this girl, she was about 20 years old, and the parents were, yeah, tell me about it, and the girl just like, and so it's kind of like, well, she was heavily influenced. She painted herself up in such a way that was dark, and obviously her mind was very, very dark. What trance fiction would a person have to have 100 of these DVDs? That's all she watched. She was mesmerized by that. What amount of evil knowledge would she have within her?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I know it from personal experience, and I kind of yeah, it draws a young mind in, but I stopped watching it pretty much after I was 15, but then I had already watched hundreds,
Right.
and the worst of the worst, the ones you needed to go to special places to buy and so on. These
Right.
movies that were for 18 years old on the
Yeah.
director's cut and such things, nasty stuff. But they have actually done some artwork. Some of the people who do those work, especially the Italian European movies, have some deep. Occult aspects to them,
Yeah.
And while I have gone through Dario Argento's movies lately, because they have a certain aspect of beauty and goodness within the movies as well, but it's still creepy, but it's like a artwork of color. This movie called Suspiria, it's beautifully done, and the music is beautiful and all that kind of stuff. But still, I when I watched that movie now last time, I thought to myself, well, that needed to be the last horror movie now for a while. I'm okay with Dario Argento, but not this stuff here. It was a little too dark for me.
Right. Yes, and so it's curious. I've never been one for horror movies because I've always known the darkness that they are conveying, and it gets into your soul and it contaminates. And once you've seen this stuff, you can never unsee it. And I used to watch, now and again horror movie, and I would ask myself, so what did I benefit from watching that? And I'll say to myself, nothing, because it left you feeling negative, pensive and out of sorts and curious with the knowledge that there's that level of evil in the world. And it's kind of like, well, who wants to promote that stuff? Um,
Yeah, but there can be ingrained, especially in the this certain ones that I liked when I start to understand how they work. There can be ingrained criticism of society into them. There can be ingrained the criticism of religion. American horror movies are not much like that. They are more like, oh, like just consume this nasty stuff like that.
yeah,
Yeah. While you might look at other movies, there might be an alchemical pattern to it. There might be certain colors stands for certain things and so on when they passes from one realm to another and so
mm,
on.
mm,
And of course, with my mind, I find such a things interesting. But it feels like I gotten enough of that by now. There is a kind of, let's say, there's a reality to it all, even if it's not real. There is a real thing to it, which is the energy within it, so to speak. And
yeah,
one might also think those who make the movies, how are their mind constructed and so on. Yeah,
mm,
and the Dario Argento even let his daughter be in his movies and so on, and
yeah,
be the leading role in some of the movies, like a movie called Trauma. She's playing in that movie, and the weird thing, she's only like maximum 18. I think she's even 17. It's been said in that movie, and she even. In a very like aesthetic way, she actually you can see her tits also, and that's a bit weird to be a father and make a movie where the daughter is showing
yeah,
off her tits, you know.
yeah. Or when
And
you've got movies with very young children in them,
yeah,
6, 7 years old, and they're playing demonic things, or
yeah,
they're
or
watching
they get
murders and
their
all that sort of thing.
yeah,
Yeah, it's well, I think it's immoral. I don't think it's right on any level. And but then we start getting into the whole Jewish movie making realm, and
yeah,
we enter into a whole new level of evil
yeah,
when we investigate that.
yeah,
Um, and so, I never have got too involved in it. I've watched some stuff just to know what's going on, but I don't want it polluting my mind.
yeah. That's a wise decision, you know.
Mm.
uh so when I told you about those certain movies, I almost feel a responsibility to not like give you advice which is like polluting the mind. You should know this and this like that,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, to
Yeah,
promote that stuff and to pass it on and to spread it and to make it more prolific.
yeah,
Because it's these sort of things that give people ideas, like we were speaking about last time. It's like
yeah,
the Ed Gein scenario when people learnt all over the world about Ed Gein. Well, all different sorts of mass murderers just came crawling out of the woodwork because they were influenced by him uh,
yeah,
and that sort of stuff. And so, well, we have to be very careful
mm,
about this stuff. And then, in today's world, when um, people in positions of power in politics start speaking about somebody should assassinate Trump. People actually in the Democratic Party saying this. Well,
yeah,
then you've got these retards, these indoctrinated fools that we've got, grandpa's gun, and then they go and take a pop shot. And, this is the whole Charlie Kirk thing. Charlie Kirk
yeah.
thing. You're familiar with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I
Yeah.
also wanted to see the video where they shot him in the throat. Just to,
You have to watch Alex Jones, and Alex Jones plays it about 20 times within
yeah, I
half
looked
an
at
hour.
it. Yeah,
He absolutely saturates it. It's obscene, really.
yeah,
Twice is enough, but every single minute he's showing the clip again, showing the clip again, showing the clip again, and it's just wrong. That Alex Jones is bang out of order doing that. We can be
mm,
sensitive and we go, look, this person, he was assassinated, and okay, so lots of people don't want to see this, but here it is. There's a 10-second clip of it, and then you don't need to do it again, Andre. But he saturated the whole fucking
yeah,
video with it till in the end, I just couldn't watch it anymore. You see the bullet going in and then him falling over like this, and I'm like, I've seen it once. I
yeah.
don't need to see it 50 fucking times, Jones.
Yeah, the thing with me, when I see it, it gives me like a bad feeling, and then I look at it because I then want to see what how does it affect the inner world when looking at something like that. Because at the same time, you should need to be resilient towards it in a way, but it's unhealthy in one aspect to be detached from this kind of things. And I think many people are very detached nowadays. I mean, they look at all kinds of movies that we couldn't imagine they are looking at, all the horror movies that I wouldn't even touch, uh, because I have probably just looked at the five movies made after 2010. So I
Right.
don't know how horrible things have become.
Yeah. So, okay, just let me quickly, briefly nip to the toilet, and we'll be back.
Yes.
Yeah. So this whole thing about you know Christianity is very very deep. Religions are always very very deep. There's always so many facets to them, and I've been reading uh, books on Christianity written by
Yeah.
scholars for many years now. You know,
Yeah.
I started reading the Bible when I was 27, and then reading other books that the Jehovah's Witnesses gave me, and then picking up other books from, secondhand bookstores. And I've read a lot of stuff about that. And I've done my own investigation into the mechanics of Christianity, which is prayer. Does prayer actually work? Confession. Does confession actually work?
Yeah.
Faith. Having faith, what does that really mean? What's the difference between faith and belief and all these sort of things? And of course, you've read my book, and so you know
Yeah.
some of the stories in there. And
Yeah.
so the thing is, Andre, um, I struggle with this all the time um, because I've done a lot of research and it's been pretty broad. Then I've learnt a lot of things, and because I've had lots of experience, and also because I have this variety of mind, which is philosophical and analytical, I have delved into and I've asked question inside question inside question in inside question, where the vast majority of people they don't ask any more than maybe one question.
Yes.
Now, speaking with people when they just stop at a certain level is so frustrating to me. Now, I was speaking to Guy last night, and the video is up on the channel, and we're speaking about Christianity and the manipulation globally of the hidden hand, and the propaganda and AI and all these different sorts of stuff. And uh, you know, he was saying, "Well, yeah, I don't agree there. I think this." on certain things. And I'm like, well, why do you think those things? Is it because you want that to be true? Is it because you think that it's true? Or is it because you know that it's true? Or if you've heard some people saying that it's really true and you don't want it to be true, are you in denial? All these things we have to consider. So one
Yes.
thing that guy was saying about, yeah, Jeffrey Epstein, paedophile, and I'm like, hey, what do you mean paedophile? Well, he's a paedophile. I'm like, according to who? According to all the bullshit that's gone on in America. But if you'd listen to the documentaries about what was happening, Ghislaine Maxwell was procuring young women, and there wasn't a single one of them. There was one that they found, that the FBI found one who was 17. The rest of them were all over 17, 18. Now,
Yeah.
lots of these girls were procured in Florida. And the age of consent for sex in Florida, I believe, is 18 years old. And so, therefore, then, one girl, she was 17, was called a minor. And so then all of a sudden they labeled him with paedophilia. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? What girl is a minor at 17 years old? Women
Yeah.
in girls in France can get married at 15 now.
Same in Sweden, it's 15, the age of
15.
consent.
There you
Always
go.
been as long as you know.
In England, it's 16 years old, and in one state or lots of states in America during the 60s, it was 13 years old because the rock and roller Jerry Lee Lewis, he married a 13-year-old girl, and he had to drive to another state to get married and then bring his wife back into a new state. In I think it's Nigeria, the age of consent is like 13, and in lots of African countries, the girls are sold into other tribes as soon as they start to menstruate, because then they are deemed to be women. And if a girl is menstruating, she can have sex and babies. So if
Yes.
it's 10 or 11, that's just how it is. And therefore, nature says that these young girls are suitable for marriage and sex because they are actually menstruating, they're creating ovaries, and their bodies can develop babies. And so, we've
Exactly.
got this fucked up bullshit in the Western world. And so they've labeled Epstein as a paedophile because everybody hates the idea of paedophiles. And so
Yeah.
they say that, but there's no grounds for it. And I've watched lots of documentaries, and I haven't found a single one whereby he was convicted or he was found with girls younger than 17. And
Yeah.
so my case is it's not paedophilia at all. And the states in America which make sex under 18 years old unlawful is fucking barbaric. It's completely outside of the fucking times. In
Yeah.
England, Andre, I don't know whether we still do. We probably still do, but 10 years ago, girls were being sold these magazines at 13 years old. They were aimed at 13 years old. And there are articles in these magazines telling 13-year-old girls how to give blowjobs.
Yeah. That I would say is like not right, you know?
No, not right. But then when we've all been at school and many girls were having sex at least 15. 15 is the average sort of age where lots
Yeah.
of girls start to have sex. And so labeling Epstein as a paedophile because him and Ghislaine were speaking to 17 and 18-year-old girls and saying, hey, if you want to earn $200, then come and massage my man. And so in Florida, where Epstein had one of his houses, where the FBI got hold of lots of these girls were attending college. And when a girl at college can earn $200, let's say 20 years ago, for doing a massage, and she can earn $500 for doing a blowjob or, having sex, well, the word soon gets around. And so word did get around, and lots of girls were going to Epstein of their own volition and doing these sexual acts. So where's the wrong in that?
Yeah, I see it, and I see what you say, and I think it's too much moralism. People cannot see behind their blinders, so to speak.
So all anyone has to say, he's a paedophile, and nobody questions, and
Yeah,
nobody. And I've listened to a lot of videos, Andre, about this thing, and not a single person has said, "Hang on, what are you talking about? Paedophilia? What's the definition of paedophilia? Sex with children. A 17-year-old
yeah.
woman isn't a child."
No, because if that was the case, my father would be a pedophile.
And my old man, he married our stepmother when she was 16. And
Yeah,
so look, it's fucking. This is just the way the world is, because this is how they get people. Now they've
yeah,
got Russell Brand on rape charges. They're dragging Andrew Tate through courts on trumped up sexual assault charges and this, that, and the other. They go for anyone who they want to destroy with these trumped up sexual charges. And so I'm hoping within no time at all, the world will just not listen to this bullshit anymore.
yeah, yeah. There are so much things in all directions that will be abolished, so to speak. I
And
think.
in our country, for many, many years, actual paedophiles who have been convicted of raping children, they get a maximum of 3 years in prison, and we have a 30% parole system. So the paedophiles could get out in 1 year. They've
Hmm.
they've been sexual predators for a long, long time. They get 3 years. They're out in a year. Whereby, if you call someone a kafir or something similar, then you're going to get 2 years.
Yeah, that's crazy. Huh?
It's fucking sick, man.
So my father was 25 and my mother 16. And when I was 23, I was together with a girl who was 17. So it's nothing strange at all. Feel. I even when I worked in a kitchen and when we were baking like buns and so on, then I said, "Oh, it's like uh, massaging a 17-year-old breast." I
Yeah.
said, and then women said, "Oh, pedophile," you know, but it's just because she was 45 years old and she's starting to get wrinkles and so on, you know.
I know they're so sick, and
Yeah,
it's all jealousy. If
yeah,
if if a man has a younger woman, oh goodness me, everybody's jealous, sick. And if a woman has a younger man, then she's fucking insane. You know, um, Bridget Macron. Uh,
yeah.
uh, what's his name? Fucking Francois Macron. What's the
Yeah.
president's name? French president.
Uh, oh, can't remember. I shall remember it, you know.
I think it's
France
Francois. Isn't it? Francois Macron.
is something like that. I think with an F or something.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, he was 15 years old when Bridget was 40, and they started to have a relationship.
Hmm.
And do you know that Bridget is supposed to be a trans?
Yeah, yeah, I've seen that. I heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looked at a bit of her videos, Candid and so on. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So she did a whole fucking series on it, without a doubt. And now the Macrons are taking Candace Owens to court, and Candace Owens is going, bring it on. I've got all the fucking evidence. You've seen all the evidence, and you've given us nothing. You fucking tranny. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the whole sexual perversion thing, it's just bang out of order. And Prince Charles of Great Britain, he married Princess Diana when she was 19. So
Mm.
they're obviously having sex when she was 18 at least. Um,
Yeah.
all this fucking business.
Yeah,
Um,
there are all kinds of weird stuff. I have a friend. He's together with his girlfriend still, and he's 7 years older than her. But long back in time, when we were teenager, she was just 14, and he was 23 or something.
right.
But he never did anything with her back then. But he waited until she came to the age of consent, you know. And then they met back then, and then they went a couple of years in between because he liked her and so on. But it went a couple of years in between, and then they meet again when they were a little bit older, and they got together and been together for many years now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and he met her when she wasn't even in the age of consent to begin with, you know.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I don't have any hang-ups around those kind of things. For me, I kind of feel like, yeah, a certain age is like, it's not interesting for me, you know. It's just not, you know.
Yeah. Well,
I draw my line around 18 or something like that. Yeah.
the
Ye-
hypocrisy,
yeah.
that's what gets me.
Yeah.
And America, the land of the free, when they're keeping their young adults uh, breaking the law illegally when they have sex of their own volition. Um,
Yeah.
teenagers' hormones are running wild at 13, 14, 15. That's the prime age of young adults to start procreating. And yet,
Yeah.
America prevents them from doing that until they're 18 years old. And then in some states, they can't drink until they're 21. For fuck's sake, Alexander the Great was fucking conquered third of the fucking world by the time he was 19.
Yeah, and we had a king in Sweden, which was a really warrior king, which was a king around when he was 16.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
so it's just fucking pathetic, all of it. But what? Getting back to the thing I was saying about people with small minds and no capacity to intellectualize. The amount of people who do not have that facility, they're astronomical. All they
yeah,
can ever do is, I think this and I don't believe that. And then when you say, why do you think that, motherfucker? And why don't you believe that, cocksucker? Well, they've got no fucking answers. And
yeah.
I get really fucking infuriated by it.
Yeah, because they have a certain trigger which they don't recognize. Like, so you can't break through their barriers with the questions, really.
Yeah, nothing and this is how the world is. And people will go through their whole lives and they'll never change. And well, you see fucking idiots, people like Piers Morgan, what's his name? Piers.
Yeah, Piers Morgan. Yeah,
Yeah, Piers Morgan, what a fucking wanker that guy
yeah,
is. He believes in God. He's a Catholic, so he's as thick as they fucking come. And then he thinks he's smart and thinks he's got the cognitive wherewithal to be able to work things out and assess things and have
yeah,
a valid opinion when the twat believes in the fucking man in the clouds, you know?
yeah. Yeah, but I think he's playing theater right through and through. You know. At one point he has one opinion, another time he has another opinion, and change it a little bit here and there. But he tried to make it look authentic, but I don't think he's authentic.
Yeah, he's not authentic. He's an idiot, basically. So, getting back then to the Christian thing, it
Yeah.
runs really, really deep, and there's so much to know about it. And if we are going to get abreast of these things, then we really do need to get into it very, very deeply. Now, Candice Owens is married to a British guy.
Yeah.
And before Candice Owens was a Catholic, she was asking her husband, what's the deal with all this religion? Religion here and religion there. And it seems that, there's all conspiracies behind religion. And in the British Crown, we swear on the Holy Bible in Crown Court and this, that, and the other. And her husband said to her, well, simply because religion is everything. Everything stems from religion. And so when we look then at the Zionists stemming from religion, when we look at
Yeah.
the Illuminati stemming from religion, when we look at the Kabbalah and all that stemming from religion, everything stems from mythology and
Yes.
fucking religion and all that
and
sort of thing.
and even alchemy in a way, because if you look at the political system, it's right and left. It's
Well, yeah,
it's
the symbolism.
the proletariat and
Thing.
it's the monarchs, so to speak.
Yes.
That's how it was after the French Revolution.
Yeah. And
So it's still this kind of dichotomy in everything.
yeah. And so, if we want to know how the world works, how human psyche works, we have to break down these religions. Otherwise, we'll never get into the deepest realms of human cognition because we've been indoctrinated throughout the whole world, from children into our religions. And in Britain, of course, we're indoctrinated into Christianity. And from kindergarten, our children are told about the Nativity show with baby Jesus born in a manger, the three kings, and this, that, and the other. And our whole moralistic fucking standpoint, the foundation is Christian values. And then, of course, you've got in the Middle East, you've got the Muslim values, and then further in the East, you've got Asian varieties of religion with Hinduism and Jainism and Buddhism and all those different sorts of things. So all these religions, over 4,000 on the planet, this
Yeah.
is what is perverted the human consciousness. And it wouldn't be so bad if it was one particular religion, but 4,000 religions. That's why
Yeah.
we will never ever see eye to eye and will never ever speak the same language. And this is why in the Bible there's that story about the Tower of Babel.
Yes. And yeah, the story of the Tower of Babel, that's what they try to create with the AI also, this barrier for everybody to understand with each other, and then it become that singularity in the end.
Yeah, I mean, it's so paradoxical. Everything is so paradoxical, and the whole Tower of Babel that God struck the whole of humanity, um, that they wouldn't speak the same language. So nobody could understand anyone because we all spoke different languages. Well, isn't that a preposterous thing? And God's mitigation for that was, well, that way you won't be able to conspire against me with other people. And you won't be able to conspire with each other about other people. So if no one could speak the same language, then no one could conspire.
Hmm.
Isn't that a thing?
Yeah.
What does that say about the human being? We're despicable creatures.
I wouldn't say that right off the bat. You know, I have no feeling in one direction or the other. You know, for me, it's like more like it's a blank thing. You know.
Well, why is it a blank thing? How can it be a blank thing?
I mean, yeah, people are people. It's just like, yeah, you're like that. I'm like this. You know. And of course, it would be nice if there was little more like this, uh, that just ain't the case, so to speak. So uh, yeah, and but I also have old friends from before, which I meet maybe every now and then. Some of them I meet maybe once or twice a year, but we can have conversations, you know, and people could have be able to look at themselves and so on as well. I know those kind of people, you know, but I think it maybe is because we have gone a certain path or something, yeah.
Mm.
Even if we separated a bit, but I recognize that they know how I function. I know how they are functioning, and so on. You know. Um, what was it again that I thought about around this that I forgot? Uh, but yeah,
I think, in all honesty, nobody knows how another person thinks. And I think it's just delusion for your friends to think they know how you are and you to think that you know how they are. Because if you were put in different situations, different circumstances, very, very different, you wouldn't fucking recognize anybody anymore.
yeah, that's for certain. That's for
It's a
certain. Yeah,
fucking fantasy that
yeah,
anyone thinks they know anyone because
yeah,
they absolutely do not. Because there's no one to know. There's just a fluctuating field of fucking energy. And depending
yeah,
on what circumstances we are in, then, that's what varying energies and spirits move. Now, I'm telling you now, if there was a time of war in your country and in my country, you wouldn't recognize me and I wouldn't recognize you. Maybe the war would bring out some real deep compassion in us instead of the warrior. We speak big about being the warrior, and we will go out and slay, and the blood would splatter blood everywhere. Defending our realm and all this, but we probably wouldn't. We probably would become really super compassionate and helping everybody, and we wouldn't be able to recognize ourselves. And so, honest to goodness, I seem to feel and think so fucking deep that I've lost every single person on the planet because they just
mm,
can't join me in this realm because they all want to cling to one particular rung on any fucking ladder, thinking that they know something. They're terrified of just letting go and accepting they don't know nothing and they don't know
yeah,
anybody.
yeah, yeah. That is a bit problematic in a way, you know. Uh, Um, I know, of course, that the people in general don't understand me because I recognize that they don't understand me. But there's people that they can find an interest in me because okay, he's a bit different. I like that difference. You know, other people become a little bit repelled about it and so on. But
Yeah, so certain circumstances, you meet people down the gym and, in safe spaces, and it's kind of like, oh yeah, Andrea's okay. He talks about Julius Evola and this, that, and the other. Well, if we were all in a war zone like the Ukraine,
Yeah.
then everything will be fucking different. All of our standards will be different. All of our thoughts will be different. All of our actions will be different. And then everyone will be saying to each other, "Who the fucking hell's Andre?" And you'll be saying, "Who the fucking hell is Nicholas?" And these sort of people. You just fucking wouldn't recognize anybody anymore.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
really, I really
No.
just don't think that we can depend on anything.
Hmm. I know. I know we have talked about this friends in between, and an old friend of mine said it to me recently that, yeah, guys like us, we have already gone through a little bit what the most people just go through in like wars and so on. Like we have gone through extreme violence, which. Eh, yeah, somewhat is triggered the kind of feeling which you get in war when you get a lot of projectiles flying over your head and it's violence everywhere and baseball bats and so on. Yeah, so and yeah, back a long time ago, that was back in I think 2007 or 2008. We even detonated a bomb in Malmo, uh, but yeah, that was because certain things and so on. Because it's a like a power
Yeah.
show off, you know.
So,
We were about to blow ourselves in the air.
yeah. Well, a few crazy thoughts here and there, and a bit of a momentum building with human energy, and all of a sudden, that we've got a revolution on our hands, and this that, and the
Yeah.
other. You see, look, what I say is things like this, and I can say this because I'm long in the tooth now, and I've had a lot of experience. And so when I'm speaking to the vast majority of people, I look at them like a grain of sand. That's what they think they know. One grain of sand. And yet they
Mm.
think that's a mountain. Well,
Yeah.
in my hand, I have a pile of sand. So if you go to the beach and you grab a pile of sand and you hold it like this, and I go, well, look, you think you have a fucking mountain in your hand. You have a grain of fucking sand. And in my hand, I have a mountain of grains of sand. And yet I still know that I know nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
That
so,
that is
so
the
how can
thing.
you speak with people that don't know that they have a grain of sand when they think it's a mountain?
Yeah. Yeah. And I know exactly what you mean as well, because it's like that for me also. People will think they know something because they have watched the video like for 5 or 10 minutes and they think they know everything, while oneself have a standard of at least going through hundreds of hours in a certain subject before even saying that know a modicum of anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's it's so mediocre, the standards people have for knowing something. If I think like, okay, I read a book and I read that book, but how do I know, get to know what that means every even more? I go back and look at other authors that this author based uh, himself upon,
Yeah.
and so on and so forth. You know, one might be able to articulate certain things without having like a proper knowledge or an internal understanding of it. Also, yeah.
Yeah. And so I was saying to Guy in our conversation that he's got this thing about yeah, these people that run the world, they must be so sick. They're ill, and they can't see their own sickness. And I'm like, I don't think they're sick and ill at all. Why do you want to project that onto them? Because you don't understand where they're coming from. I don't think Bill Gates or George Soros are sick or ill. I've listened to these people, particularly Bill Gates, for hundreds of hours. I don't think he's sick. You know,
The
I think
thing is,
cognizant, and I think he really believes what he's doing is a good thing. I don't think, he's evil, and I don't think that. And then a guy says, "Yeah, well, what about what he did in India, and what about what he's doing in Africa?" And I'm like, okay, so he will give some vaccines to a group of people, but look at it this way. What about he was testing it on a certain realm of individuals that he may have not considered to be too important, and people in the Western world wouldn't consider them to be too important? They're, after all, they're Indian poor people, uneducated, and African poor people, uneducated. And it can be deemed to be very, very immoral. But if he's doing it to tweak a vaccine just a little bit here and a little bit there, so it is beneficial for millions of people, then we override the bad with the good, don't we?
yeah, yeah. It's all about, in this matter, it's all about the perspective, I think, in a way. But it's also what the person is defining as evil. What are the person defining as evil? Is your view of evil, my view of evil, another person's view of evil different? Or do we even have a clear conception of evil at all?
Yeah. That exactly. What is evil? By whose standards?
Yeah,
And in relation to these vaccines, with the polio vaccine in India, and then there was uh, a particular vaccine in Africa which was causing infertility, and people are like, "Oh, he gave that vaccine to reduce the population and this, that, and the other." But there's so many things with like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation that they are really striving to increase health and vitality in lots of these realms, and so people that don't get the whole picture, they just pick something and then they want to believe that, they want to follow it. Um, just jumping on one particular bandwagon. And then, when people speak about, oh, yes, they want us all to have digital IDs so they can control us, you're already massively controlled.
yeah.
And if you looked at, some of the reasons why they are saying this, it would be very, very much more efficient. And, for instance, if we didn't need a passport, we didn't need a driver's license, we didn't need a birth certificate, we didn't need bank account documents, we didn't need doctors' medical records and all these sort of things. If we just had one digital ID with all that on there, then it would serve many, many purposes. And if we have a car accident and we're unconscious, then our blood group's going to be on there. Whether we've got any ailments or illnesses, they're going to be on there. And it could save our life because they know what we're allergic to and what we're not allergic to, and this, that, and the other. Yes, okay, Big Brother may be looking at us with the transactions we're making and, the places that we're going. Oh, I don't want them to know where I'm going. Well, why? Why? What are you doing?
So the question also becomes, uh, do we want to keep on the process, yeah, and even accelerate the process of it, or do we have a certain standard which we no, no, we don't want that because that is hindering the higher realm, the more spiritual realm, the transcendent realm,
How can it be hindering the transcendent realm?
because it's going downward, it's going down to the matter. You know, it becomes like mechanized.
So what you mean if we have a digital ID?
Yeah, it's a part of everything with AI and so on and so forth, you know?
Yeah,
So that's how I think about it.
yeah.
And
Well,
uh, you know this, you maybe saw this video with, I think they both are a bit harder to understand, Mike Land and
yeah,
Alexander Dugins.
yeah.
Mike Land is like an accelerationist, that he wants everything to accelerate into the AI, so to speak.
Mhm.
And he's anti-humanist and he's a nihilist. And Alexander Dugin is more like on Julius Evola, Rene Guénon, Martin Heidegger, and so on. So he's more towards imperium and the transcendent order of things and so on.
Yeah,
But I like this conversation because they weren't arguing. Both of them could like meet in a very good way. You know, both had a similar way, but different outcomes. You know, one where like just see what comes out of all this, accelerate the process that we already are in. You know.
yeah. Well, at the end of the day, it's going one way, and
Yeah.
it's complete and utter amalgamation with AI. And you know, people have always got the reservations, have always got the fears, and this, that, and the other. Well, it's just one generation out of gazillions and gazillions of silly pink apes. At the end of the day, and you know, if a silly pink ape wants to be a warrior and wants to be spiritual, whatever, you're fucking dead in 80 years. You know, who gives a fuck? Who gives a
Mm.
fuck? Well, why would anyone coming after you give a fuck about you? Nobody's going to give a fuck about you. Do we give a
Yeah.
fuck about the people that came before us? No, we don't. You know,
Mm.
so it's just silly ego bullshit. It's the human species, which has probably been around for 300,000 years, and it may be around for 300,000 more, or maybe fucking 300 years more, or something like that. I just think the human ego just vastly gets above itself, thinking it's real something. It's fucking nothing at the end of the day. And if it is anything, then it's that something without the fucking ego. And it's that something before the ego and after the ego. And so if it's something, then we are eternal cosmic consciousness and spirit. It's the ego that's fucked up piece of shit. And if the ego wants to think it's a warrior or wants to think it's free, it's just a fucked up piece of shit as far as I'm
Mm.
concerned. So I don't
Mm.
know. I probably am more on Andrew Land's perspective. Just fucking go straight into AI because that's the way we're going. And all these fucking idiots, retards around the fucking world, they deserve nothing more. They're fucking useless eaters and they're obsolete now.
Yeah. Yeah, and either of those perspective that hold steer, I get the perspectives, and I don't feel like that it's problematic. I don't get them like many people uh, position themselves in one realm or the other, and they feel a bit agitated if somebody think this or that. Yeah.
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, like you, I often just look at things like, yeah, this is interesting. I like a conversation where I see uh, differences, and I don't need to take one or the other necessarily. Yeah. But I have a certain disposition in being in a certain way and so on. Uh, but that's just how it is in a way.
Yeah,
You know,
you see,
it's like,
what I've come to know about my life is that I've had very, very high highs and very, very low lows. And whoever I was there at that time, and I experienced it, and I got some joy out of it. I got some realizations out of it. I got some benefit out of it. I was growing spiritually, consciously. What the fuck? And so, spending, as long as I have done in prisons, and then roaming free every day in the beaches, on the woods. At the end of the day, it's the spirit that's there, and it's only the ego that makes a silly fucking decision about whether it likes it or not.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
that's the thing. People are just so fucking precious all the time. And I just think, well, that's because you've not fucking lived. Because if you'd lived, if you've been to two fucking vast polarities, and you're somewhere in between, you go, well, look, it's just like a fucking graphic equalizer, or it's like the scales. 1 minute you're up and 1 minute you're down. That's life, bitches.
Yeah.
And if you
Yeah.
get your digital ID and they know what you fucking bought and what porn you fucking watched, well, what the fuck?
Hmm.
Go
Hmm.
go and live in the fucking forest. Go and live in the Himalayas. There's 194 countries. There's still lots of time where you can fuck off, and all this stuff isn't going to be coming to you. But if
Yeah.
you want all the benefits of the city because you like that comfort zone and you're shit scared of going out and doing it in the wilderness, then fucking, suck dick, bitch. Suck
Yeah.
fucking dick. You like the fucking security of the city and the state and all the rest of it, so suck fucking dick.
Hmm.
God, I tell you, if I've got one subscriber left after this fucking rant, no one
Yeah.
can stand it. No one can fucking stand it because they're all so fucking precious.
Hmm. Yeah. 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 It's really strange how it is with people. Yeah.
At the end of the day, you see, when you're in a different state of consciousness, when your consciousness is evidently vast from the fucking muppet in the street, you don't see this small me. You don't see this frail me. Oh, they're coming to do this to me and they're going to hurt me. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
I will die like a fucking warrior if need be, and so will you, Andre.
Yeah.
We'll face whatever we need to fucking face. We're not going to
Yeah.
shit ourselves and hide ourselves in the fucking toilet. It's life. Life fucking happens. And we live in these, incredible countries where war has never come to us in our lifetime. Where we
Yeah.
look around the world and people have had all their families' fucking faces blown off and everything. We've got nothing to fucking cry about. We've got even nothing to even murmur about.
Yeah. And that is the thing with me also. It's like, yeah, I'm in a situation now, but I well, I don't have a gun to my face. There's not the people uh, that
You're
bugging
healthy.
me that way.
You're
Yeah.
healthy. All your time's your own. Everything's
Yeah.
paid for. You live in a very safe environment. You can go to the gym. You fucking go to the pub. You can go walk in the park. You can do fucking whatever you want. Can they do that in the Gaza Strip? Can they do that in Ukraine? Can they do that in Africa? Can they do it in India? Can they do all these things? Or are they fucking starving with flies walking on their eyeballs? I get things in perspective. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I do, and I ain't never bitching about a single day in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. It is very strange because am also like that. I don't bitch too much. I try to. I don't even try to not bitch, but I often try to look at myself. Am I bitching now or am I not? You know. Uh, but often I don't. Yeah. I have some problems and so on, that I'm trying to battle, but at the same time, I it's a peculiarity because I have it good. I feel good most of the time, and
It
so
could
on. So it's
always get
strange, yeah,
much, much worse. And you look
yeah,
around the world and people ain't got shit. And they've lost all their fucking family. And that's if they're still alive themselves. You know, most people, they're getting wiped out, in their fucking thousands. And so, yeah, people, they just got to evolve. They've got to fucking grow up. And they've got to realize that every single thing that they've got in a first world country, it has been given to them. They haven't earned it in any shape or form. Their ancestors died for it. Their ancestors broke their backs for it. Their ancestors invented it. And everything that they've done for you, motherfuckers, to make your homes all fucking simple and beautiful. You just turn on a tap and you've got hot running fucking water. You just flick a switch and you've got electricity and heating. You just go out into the fucking car park and you put a key in a fucking tin box on wheels and you drive down the fucking road. For fuck's sake. I got no
yeah.
time for these cunts. The sooner they're
Because
fucking better.
people can always find stuff to complain about. It often like if it's rainy outside, people find that to complain about. I haven't complained about the weather for probably 15 years since I last time complained about the weather. Even
Yeah.
even if I have a headache, I just take some extra rest or something. And if I would work and I get a migraine or headache, and people ask me, "Oh, take this pill here." No, I don't eat that pill. I work, And then somebody else come and complain when you're working, and I have a fucking headache, but I don't care because I'm working. You know. Uh, I never complain about those kind of stuff because that will subside sooner or later. Yeah,
Yeah, and what does complaining do? It
yeah,
doesn't ease the symptoms, does it?
yeah,
And so, yeah, I mean, I think it's got a great deal to do with people's states of consciousness. When you have a broader state of consciousness, when you feel more, you intuit more, you know more. Um, all this stupid shit, it just doesn't mean anything anymore. And this is the whole
yeah,
process of being enlightened. When you're enlightened, it just doesn't fucking mean anything anymore. It's just a fucking, it's all just a joke. It's the cosmic giggle.
yeah.
And so, I've been making videos, like this for a long time now. I don't know, about 5 or 6 years, and nobody wants to listen to these videos anymore. They want to listen to videos about Gifty, and oh, how she's so sweet, and oh, she's adorable, and you're such a great daddy. Yeah, they can watch that shit all fucking day long. And
What
it is,
is that?
sorry,
What is that?
Gifty,
Gift.
my pet squirrel.
Aha, yeah, your new pet squirrel. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah,
Okay, that's one facet, but they'll close their eyes to any fucking sense of reality. They just
yeah,
don't want to fucking look at it. They don't want to go there because they just want to stay in their stupid little fucking shallow bubbles. And okay,
mm,
let them do it. They're the motherfuckers that should go and work in a factory or in a fucking chicken packing fucking shop or something.
yeah,
Um, and there's millions of those around. Um, and so, people that have said things like what I say, they're the likes of fucking Nietzsche and Guénon and uh, Evola and these sorts of people. They've said that. The human being is a fucking cesspool. The fucking idiots. The fucking retards.
yeah,
And anyone that's ever had a fucking mind sees it as clear as fucking day. And I say
yeah,
to these fucking pricks that want to get all like, oh, they're doing this. I say, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? You're doing nothing.
mm,
So shut the fuck up.
yeah,
That's what I say. Me, when I was 17 years old, I was traveling the world on my
yeah,
own because I
yeah,
wanted to go somewhere else to see what it was like somewhere else. And I did that.
yeah,
And I got jobs in the fucking gold mines and all different sorts of stuff because I got up off my arse and I had some balls. And I never
yeah.
complained about a single fucking thing.
Hmm.
So that's the rant of the year, probably for me.
Yeah.
And we'll get about fucking 50 views, and there'll be one thumb up and maybe one comment, and the comment will go, "Hey, where did Andre get that black polo neck from?" I'll go, "Why don't you fuck off and die? Why don't you fuck off and die, cunt?" Yeah,
Polar neck. What is
polo neck.
that?
Yeah, that fucking sweater you got. It's called a polo neck, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I see.
Or maybe a polo and goes up further, or
Yeah,
whatever. But yeah, it's a stupid dumbass fuckers like that. I swear, there's only you and fuck knows who else.
yeah,
That, has got a fucking brain. Mario seems to um, have something going for him, but he's still young, and you're not very learned. You know.
hmm,
Um, for fuck's sake, yeah. When you've got a choice, oh, I don't know. I don't even want to go there. Don't even want to go there. You see, my choice in my life, when I had this spiritual awakening, I made a choice. I'm gonna fucking read, and listen to videos all fucking day long forever. That's what I'm
hmm,
gonna do. By hook or by
yeah,
fucking crook, and I'm gonna find a way to do it because it's really, really important to me. Well, if nobody really gets that motivation, do they? How many people are really that motivated, inspired? You've got people like Andrew Tate that get up off their ass and go and do something, and then they're worth 100 million.
yeah. Hmm. Yeah, you're probably pretty intense with your things. I seem to be that as well. I have a certain pattern to it. So sometimes I do more, sometimes I do less. Sometimes I read less, sometimes I read more. In certain periods I read for many hours a day. Other periods I just read 30 minutes or something like that,
Yeah.
uh, and so on. And but I also ask the question, why am I doing all this? Why am I doing this? Yeah.
Mm.
And then I ask myself, why am I going to the gym? And so on. Okay, I feel good about going to the gym. Um, I also need rest days and so on, of course. But I seldom have rest days. And then I think to myself, well, I already built a really great body, and I already had a great body 2010. So what more? Yeah, then it's just keep on building, keep on training. Yeah,
Yeah.
uh, and so on. But I often want to see if I can put something on higher above everything. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I've been doing the same all my life. I started training when I was 15, and I'll probably never stop. It's the creature I am. We could
Yeah,
say, why does a monkey climb trees? Because it's a fucking monkey.
yeah,
And
yeah,
we are what we are because we are a variety of human being, and fat
yeah,
lazy cunts are another variety of human being. We can't all be the same, and I suppose we're very, very lucky for being what we are. Because we
yeah.
could be sitting here, oh, why am I such a fat lazy cunt? Why can't read a book? Why don't I know any fucking thing? Why don't I ever get any women? Because you're a fat, lazy, smelly cunt. That's why. And there's lots of you, so don't worry about it. You're not alone.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm telling you, I need to go on Joe Rogan. I need to go on Joe Rogan and fucking tell it the way it is. To all the
Yeah.
fucking insufferable cunts out there, make me sick to my fucking teeth. I do. Whinging fucking bitches that have never fucking had a thought of their own in their own fucking lives, and never done anything under their own initiative.
Yeah.
But that's how it is, Andre. That's the fucking
Yeah,
world.
that's how it is, yeah.
And
Hmm.
so, well, what do? We just be grateful for not being one of them.
Yeah. So uh I I said it something when I gave the date of a certain thing further back in our conversation. I kind of said it 2007 and 2008. I didn't say 2017 and 2018, but I said 2007, 2008. Yeah, yeah. Just thinking loudly for myself. Yeah,
Right, okay. I don't remember that, to be fair.
yeah.
But, yeah. Okay, well,
But by the way, I wanted to show you what kind of pictures there are in the Mormon book.
right,
Here's one picture.
yeah,
Show you the next picture. Here's the Adam Smith, he who founded the religion.
right.
And here's a peculiar picture. This isn't the most peculiar one. Here's another. And that is. Let's see. Here's the most strange picture of them.
Right, yeah, they're all worshipping Jesus. And
Do you know what it is? It's Jesus and Native Americans.
right, okay, I can't see it that clear because your camera isn't that great. But okay, so Native Americans, yeah. Oh my goodness.
So
So
they believe that
yeah,
actually.
what fucking cosmos was he in then?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
here, I think this is. I think this may be a picture of the creator of the book when he finds the golden plates.
right. Oh, yeah. How fortunate! How fortunate to find these gold tablets with all this wisdom, and then how fortunate just to lose them. Uh, yeah, and you've got hundreds of thousands, I don't know, millions of fuckwits that follow this shit.
Yeah,
It's kind of like what the fuck is the human being? They're everything. They're the lowest of the fucking low to the most genius. You know, it's bizarre. And so I'm just enjoying the shit fest, to be quite frank, just enjoying the shit fest. But
yeah,
I can't help feeling quite haughty all the time because I've still yet to find too many real intellectuals that make me feel intimidated.
yeah,
When I listen to people, I feel intimidated by their knowledge. I think
yeah.
I listen to people like that about once every 10 fucking years.
Yeah, 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 because I know you have said before that you like to listen to people which makes you feel stupid or dumb.
Yeah, yeah,
And I feel that too, because if I find something that I can't understand, it's interesting to listen to that person again and again and again. And that is kind of what I found with Alexander Dugin and Nick Land. takes time to see what they are aiming at. I felt.
Yes, because they are sitting on so much knowledge,
Yeah,
um, and it appears that they are speaking from another cosmos. So I'm going to
yeah,
listen to that conversation again because um, I think I watched about an hour of it, and then um, I went on to something else, and then the computer fucking crashed, and then lost it or whatever. So I'm gonna
yeah,
find that again and sit through it again. And when I was listening to it, I'm like, why am I listening to this? And I'm like,
yeah,
well, there's a part of me thinks it's interesting, and then I go, why is it interesting? Because you don't really grasp what they're saying, and I'm
yeah,
like, yeah, but it's an intuitive thing. If I keep
yeah,
listening, then they'll eventually say something, which brings it together.
yeah. And it can be like it maybe comes after a while when looked at it, or it might come afterwards, or it might come a day afterward.
Yeah.
Aha, okay, that was that, yeah, or something else that is relating to that. But I often think about it like even when we don't grasp it right away, the subconscious is working behind the curtain
Yes.
with it, so to speak.
That's right. And if I don't understand something and I know these people are intellectuals, then that's an added incentive because it's kind of like, well, okay, what are you missing then? What are you missing? You need to listen to
Yeah,
them longer and longer. And then it may be just that you're not familiar with where they're coming from. Because if all of a sudden you start listening to some great intellectual and you've got no background at all, it's like double Dutch, isn't it? Then you've got to
yeah,
start reading some of their books and you go, ah, I know where he's coming from now. And the thing
yeah,
is, we watch, scores and scores of videos, and that's what I've done. Whenever I've struggled with any body, I've just watched loads of their videos until I grasp what it is that they've
mm,
said.
yeah, exactly. uh, and what there was something that I thought about in that matter. Hmm. Yes. I know you have read. Yeah, he's playing around with the camera or
Yeah.
something.
She may be trying to get to the water bottle because
Yeah,
that's her,
okay, I see.
or she wants her milk. Do you want your milk, darling? I think it's milk time. You see, it's milk time, and she's thinking, "What the
Okay,
fuck are you doing? Where's my milk?"
so it's certain hours that it's used to get milk and so
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
Yeah.
And she sleeps a lot during the day because she's still a baby.
Huh, I
And then
see.
she gets up for a couple of hours and she's all over the place, burning up a lot of energy, and then she takes herself back to bed.
Huh,
You
I
know,
see.
but once she's done her toilet and she's had a milk and she's ate a few things and she's played. She likes to play a lot.
Huh.
She's my baby. Hey, she's my baby. Right. Okay, mate. Well, yeah. Okay. Good
Yeah.
conversation. Well, let's see if anybody wants
Yes,
to.
here was what I thought about this. This is an author that I want to read next year. Martin Heidegger, Being and
Martin
Time.
Heidegger. Okay, yeah.
Have you read him?
A little bit. A long time
He's
ago.
really hard to understand.
Yeah.
I just looked at the internet on him and so on, you know. But I think I start to make a little bit more inner sense with it. Not that I can formulate it or something like that fully, but I think if I would give his book a try, Being in Time.
Yeah. I've been listening to a
Yeah,
lot of Plotinus.
yeah.
And the next person I'm going to listen to is Wittgenstein.
Okay,
Because
I
when I'm
see.
speaking to AI and I'm saying to AI, who else has spoke about take language and concepts away, there will be nothing here. Um,
Ah,
and AI told me that Plotinus did. Wittgenstein said, he's talking about the fallacy of language. It cannot give us anything. It's just deludes us because all it does is takes us round and round in circles. And this is what I speak about in my book. And so
I see.
I want to listen to more people that have said that. Um,
Yeah. So you are about to buy Wittgenstein's books later on, also?
Well, yeah, maybe buy them, but first and foremost, what I do is I listen to videos, I listen to audios, and I listen to people speaking about
Yeah,
them, and then I make up my mind whether I want to buy the books.
yeah, I get that. Yeah, um, yeah, I think that also a very complex philosopher I have heard, like similar, like Martin Heidegger is very complex as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, and but a book that was very interesting, I thought, was actually this book, Sex and Character.
right.
It's I mean, to think that he's 21 years old when he wrote this book is amazing, you know.
Yeah,
And this is 1903. He wrote this book. When he was 23, he shot himself in the heart.
wow.
Yeah, but he I mean this is like the most interesting book I read this year. One
Right.
of those. So because it brought things that were touching me in a different way, you know.
Okay, well, let me go and feed this little girl. We'll talk about that in our next conversation.
Yeah,
A little bit. We'll include that into the conversation, as well as whatever else is on our minds.
yeah, great.
All right, cool. All right, Andre. I'll see you next time, mate.
Yeah, see you next time.
We gotta go and get some milk, haven't we? See you later, dude.
See you.